What is fragrance if not the last sigh of a flower? Aware of its impermanence, desperate to stay a little longer, even if you change its form and rip it off its body. Foolish to think it forever can, if not in touch, in sight, in feel, then in memory, in remembrance, in souvenirs of time, which can seldom be erased. Ambitious enough, silly enough, human enough. Hello and welcome to the Fashion Scoop. Like I say, this is your passport to the dynamic world of fashion. Well, if you're wondering if I wrote any of that, no, I didn't. I'm not so talented. Well, maybe that was exaggeration, but anyway. So these words are written by our talented and lovely guest. Not only is she good with words, but she is the budding queen of fragrance. Please welcome the founder of the homegrown luxury perfume label House of Kastoor, Esha Tiwari. Hi, Isha.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, the poem was lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank
hope
you.
like everybody who heard loved that. Firstly, I want to appreciate how vibrant and lovely you are as a person, and I hope that this episode goes like resonates with your personality.
Thank you so
And
much.
before we start, I love the neck piece that you're
Thank you.
wearing.
Thank
Yeah.
you so
So
much.
what is it exactly?
There's a very funny story behind this. So this just got landed on my doorstep. There were
Okay.
2 boxes, and my house address is 15 and whatever colony.
Okay.
And it was addressed to my house, and there was someone else's name written on it. And I was like, till like I like really delayed it. I was like, okay, tomorrow I'll go give it to them. Day after tomorrow I'll go give it to them. I went after a month. I was like, okay, just like take this. These are your boxes. I didn't open them, of course.
Yeah.
And when I landed up, it was addressed to some Sakshi or something, and they said there's no Sakshi who lives here.
Okay.
I was like, okay, but can you just check all the floors? They were like, no, there's no Sakshi here. I was like, okay. Then I came back. There was no like address to send it back to. Nothing. There was nothing on it. It was just 2 boxes. And I opened it up, and it was just jewelry.
Wow.
The kind of jewelry that I would like.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to. I'm fairly like very spiritual and very like, oh, these are the signs, etc.
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
that kind of a person. Very hopeless in
Yeah,
that way.
yeah.
But I mean, I just like kind of took it and started wearing them, and that's one of the pieces. So
Nice.
whosoever, I mean, whatever happened there, I just don't know.
If you're
th-
listening, she says thank you.
I say thank you to the world and to the universe. It just got dropped on
Yeah.
my doorstep. So
Yeah.
maybe I needed that pick me up for the day in that phase. So I'm grateful for that.
No. It's a gift from God. And
Yes,
it's really
that's
good
how
to
we
be
read it.
hopeless. Even I'm that way.
Yes,
So
that's how we
nice.
read it. So
Yes. Okay, so you hail from Banaras, and why and when did you decide to shift to Delhi? And how was your experience?
So I was born in Banaras. I was brought up in Gwalior, which is
Okay.
an MP,
Yeah.
and I came to Delhi when I was 18. And I came for like I just very early like I didn't know what I wanted to become, but I was very sure of what I didn't want to become. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to be an engineer. I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to give all of those exams because they used to give me a lot of anxiety, and
Yeah.
I never was very confident in them. And I was like, मैं कुछ भी करूँगी ये नहीं करूँगी
हाँ,
but
हाँ.
okay. So my dad was like, all of these PTAI triple E exams and everything. He's like, बेटा एक तो दे दो, एक
Yeah,
exam तो
yeah.
दे दो. And I was like, नहीं, I just don't want to go there, so why to do that?
True.
So he was like, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to study English, like literature. So, and like, I was in Gwalior and I was coming from Banaras. Like, nobody talks about literature
Yeah.
as a course to go and study. Everybody's about like being
Correct.
the mainstream engineer, doctor, etc.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
everybody preps you also
True.
for that.
True.
So, and he was like, okay, let's send you to Delhi. And fortunately, I had some relatives here who were very welcoming.
Yeah.
And we started hunting for all of the colleges and start giving I don't know the scenes now, what are the exams and criteria now, but earlier it used to be on the basis of the grades that you've scored earlier and then one entrance exams and stuff like that. So I went to Gargi and I had my first like interview there. And the lady who was sitting there in all her glory, she was wearing a sari and all her glory, and She said, what kind of books do you read, dear? I was like, yeah, I've read Chetan Bhagat and I have read. So she's like, oh, Lord, it's going to be a lot more than Chetan Bhagat in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hadn't read much before, like the basics. But
Yeah.
when I got introduced to the world of literature, I think so it changed my life.
Yeah.
Till date, I tell people that I owe everything to my those 3 years. Because it opened up my mind, and actually, that's the biggest thing that any institution can do to you.
True.
That it can open your mind to possibilities, and that's what it did. Like I had like some brilliant teachers,
Nice.
and who are right now in Oxfords of the world, and. That my classroom used to be such an open discussion classroom, Priyanka, that it blew my mind. Okay, so we used to discuss like poems and
Yeah.
a lot of literary texts, and there was nothing moral about it that you can like this is not a possibility. You can say that. So for example, I think so we were discussing a poem on gremlins and goblins, and she opened the floor for discussion, and one of the students said that she raised her hand and she said, I think they're talking about masturbation.
Okay.
And she said, interesting
Wow,
thought.
yeah.
She said, interesting thought. If you
Yeah.
can prove that in your paper, if you can substitute that, like if you can like kind of put examples of how they're talking about masturbation, linking it to the history and economics of the times that we're talking about, I would love
Yeah.
to read that.
Wow.
So this was my classroom.
That was one hell of a teacher.
Yes, and this
Everybody
was my,
in India should have that
yes,
kind of a
this was
teacher,
my
yeah.
classroom. Everything
Wow.
was open for discussion, and we could just like go and be yourself. And when you
Yeah.
are given that kind of platform to just go and be yourself,
Correct.
you just
bloom.
find that you
Yeah.
bloom. I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, true.
And I was in there for 3 years in my bachelor's, and I was just so passionate in it
Yeah.
that I didn't want to leave it after 3 years. So I also did masters in literature, which was a bad decision because then it becomes very technical. I didn't enjoy those 2 years. But those 3 years, I was very happily, I used to be found in the libraries, and I had braces on, and I had I had no sense of fashion then. And
That's also a
yes.
type of fashion now,
Yes,
by the way.
yes.
Yeah.
So I had I was a very quintessential library
Yeah.
nerd, sort of, if nerd is now a look, etc. I don't
It
know
is,
what
it
it is.
is. Yeah.
But and I was not interested in any kind of a lot of activities that college people indulge in, having
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
I used to be very much in the library, and I used to be very consumed by the books.
Got
And I
it.
used to love dissecting literary text and having my own analysis of it.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean that was shifting to Delhi for
Yeah,
I think Delhi
nice.
kind of just consumed me for the first 3 years
That
for
is
sure.
the charm of the city.
And very very different. Like I was coming from a very different city
Yeah.
to the city. It was a culture shock. It was just opening up a lot of your minds at the same time.
Got it.
And going back home and being a rebel because now I had new knowledge, so
Yeah.
I had to go back and fight about everything at home because
Yeah.
yes, that's how it used to be. But it was
Got it.
it's something that kind of is what has been the foundation of everything that I am today.
Understood. So, when you were talking, you just mentioned you wanted to pursue literature, and it wasn't over there back in your town. People were mostly about engineering or something like that. So, do you think, I have also seen this trend, especially in smaller towns when people shift to Delhi or Mumbai or any of the metro cities, they are sort of really looking forward to being a doctor or getting into IIT or, and when you say that, oh, I'm going to pursue fashion or I'm going to pursue literature, people are like, what is that even a thing?
Yeah.
I mean, does that still exist? I don't know. We've come a long way.
We have come a long way.
Yeah, yeah.
What I'm talking about is almost 12 years back,
Yeah,
12,
yeah,
13 years
yeah.
back. And I think so now, with especially with social media and with the
Correct.
power that it can do to you, what
Yeah,
it can help
yeah.
you with, I think so things are changing a little bit.
Yeah.
Even if the parents or the grandparents don't understand what you're doing now, but they still support it. I
Correct.
think so.
Yeah.
That's the change that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of my friend, he's a videographer,
Mm-hmm.
and he also does cinematography for like, he also has that, and he's like whenever I go back home,
Hmm.
my grandparent, he's not able to explain what I do.
Yeah.
So he's just like कि वो दीवारें paint करता है वहाँ पे. So
So
he's
cute.
like, yeah, he's
Okay.
just like he just like paints the walls. It's fine
Okay.
because he's not able to explain these new
Got
terms,
it.
etc. What like,
But at
but
least we've come a long way in terms of acceptance, which
yes,
is also a
in
big
giving you
step.
that
Yeah.
kind of, if not stopping you, if not
Correct.
able to like guide you in what you should do,
Yeah.
not stopping you at the same time
Yeah.
has a lot of power in
It
itself.
does. It does.
And I think so that is very special about all of the small towns, etc. That even
True.
if they don't understand
Yeah.
what your vision is or what you're trying to do, because they have not been
Yeah.
able to see
Exposed
that,
to that
exposed
kind
to
of
that,
yeah.
but they'll let you be.
Yeah, yeah,
They'll
yeah,
not
that's
stop you.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talking about small towns, like I was also born in a small town.
Oh yes.
And yeah, so high five on that. We have that in common. So, the thing is that my childhood experiences were very different. Like, like also, I mean, I did travel a bit, so maybe I had a little more exposure. But then when I was there, I did not see like a lot of fashion, or I was not aware like of a lot of things which I became aware of when I shifted to Delhi, and then when I went to Mumbai for like my studies, etc. So how was your childhood? Like, what was it like did you have all of this awareness, or was it like a distant far
So
world?
fashion or styling, nothing of that.
Yeah.
Till the time I came to Delhi.
Hmm.
But I'll tell you, like, maybe in its form, fashion and styling was not there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think so. The germination of it starts from, for me at least,
Yeah.
that doing a lot of permutation combination.
Hmm.
Even when I open my wardrobe today, there's a lot of permutation combination happening. Like,
Yeah.
I can mix this with this, let's do
Correct.
this, let's do that. And that is the process I enjoy.
Yeah.
And how do I enjoy that process has to do with how was my home environment. So my mom is an artist. She does oil paintings. So we
Okay.
used to create colors at home.
Yeah.
So we never had any secondary colors like, pink or orange, etc. We used to create it by mixing red with white or mixing like blue and green together. This used to be a normal
Got it.
everyday home, and my dad is a botanist.
Oh,
So there used to be a
interesting.
lot of like mixtures of botanical elements, etc. All of that. So I think so in my DNA that got embedded.
Yeah.
The joy of permutation combination, the joy
Got
of the process, the joy,
yeah.
the seeing the art in it, that mixing something with this and then
Yeah.
creating something. Till now, it's like not just in fashion, till everything. Like even
Yeah.
in my perfumery, it kind of permeates to that.
Hmm.
So that I think so started from my childhood,
Got it.
and the kind of forces that I saw in my own house,
Yeah.
and their artistic sides and their forces. And then when I came to Delhi, I was living in a PG,
Okay.
and. I think if Rishta, if you're watching this, like I'm speaking your name out loud. So she was my roommate, my friend, and she's my friend since 13 years now. So it's a
Wow.
long friendship. And she was in the fashion society of Kamla Nehru College.
Okay.
And Kamla Nehru was right next to Gargi
Yeah,
College. So we
yeah.
were staying in a PG together.
Got it.
And so that fashion society that she was a part of, it was called Glitz. I don't know if it still exists now or must be blooming in all its glory. So they used to have these fashion shows which were very theme oriented.
Okay.
So it was on climate change, and it was on the rape culture, or it was on women empowerment.
Yeah,
All of
yeah.
these very strong topics they used to do, and they used to have fashion shows according to that.
Got it.
So for that, they used to have a lot of. They used to do a lot of permutation combination. They used to go for like sourcing a lot of materials and then
Yeah.
stitching it into this, etc. All of that.
Yeah.
So I used to see that, like it used to happen in front of my eyes, and. As you know, like the DNA which was there of permutation combination, it used to get a lot more activated with that. And Rishta used to gasp at the length of my, the jeans, or I was like very ill-fitted. I never cared about it. And she was like, please, no, you will not like you'll not tuck this your top inside your jeans. You're not going to do that. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, okay, like if you want to style me, you can style me. So she used to style me. She started styling me. She opened up her wardrobe very graciously. She was like, wear this, wear this, wear this. All of you used to give me. And then it just kind of, I kind of got into that. Like, it just gave me so much joy. It started giving me so much joy that just opening the wardrobe and deciding what to wear today. And there was, as you know, I was in that zone of no morality because the classroom was so open, right? So there was just no restriction. There was nothing like, oh, this is like too old, or this is too short, or this is too bright, or this is too much. Nothing. It used to be like, okay, let's just mix this. Do you like it? Even if red and pink are like doesn't go together, but do you like it on you? And if the answer was yes, then I used to wear that and work out.
That's
so
nice,
I think so that developed and developed and developed, and I just got onto it like fire, like till today. It's like one of my most joyful experiences is like, what will I wear today? It is almost, it's very spiritual for me, like the entire process. It's not nothing to do like a lot much of how you're looking, etc., but how you're feeling when you're
how it
dressing
makes
up.
you feel. Yeah, as you rightly said, I mean, your environment really matters, and in how you shape up. So like your parents, like they had an influence on you. Your friend, she had an influence on you. Like, even like, let's say my mother, like she was also a painter, and like she also had like a great sense of fashion. Like some of the pieces that she owned, like I use it till date, so that really matters a lot. So talking about evolution and everything, and like who's your fashion inspiration? Like, is there any person you look up to like today?
Fashion inspiration are many actually, but a lot of sitcoms that I've like seen like while growing up, and a lot of movies, like a lot of like Sex in the City, Carrie Bradshaw fashion movie used to be like, oh my god, it's inspiration. And I'm always like a maximalist kind of person. I love colors because I was born in an artist's house. I've grown up with colors. I love hues and I love colors. So I'm always gravitating towards that mostly. But I find a lot of inspiration in the everyday life and the everyday people as well. And especially the fashion like the industry today in India, that's booming. I mean,
It is.
I think we are doing a fabulous job on what we are bringing to front. And a lot of work that I see by a lot of artists that are coming along. I think so. My gallery is always saved with like, this is like the best post, and like this is it. How like the textures, the hues, the cuts. I think so. We always had fabric, because this is the land of fabric. I mean, we have a plethora of fabric, but I think cuts is the cuts that we are kind of bringing out now.
True.
I think we're changing the game of the fashion landscape in India and globally for sure.
Absolutely.
And I mean, a lot of like the celebrated designer works, the Amita Agarwals of the world, like I love their work. A lot of like new studios, the fashion studios that are coming up. So inspiration definitely would be a lot many. I mean, like my friend, the childhood friend that I'm talking about, my mother, because she brought the influence of all the Banarsi sarees. So in Banaras, when you're getting married, it's not a Delhi culture, right? Like there are a lot of things that are given to you. It's mostly sarees. Okay, you're presented with mostly Banarsi sarees. So anybody who's coming to your wedding will also give you Banarsi sarees. Your family relatives will give you Banarsi sarees. So my mother had a huge trunk collection of Banarsi sarees. Okay.
Wow.
And that used to be given to us, just as like wear it on Diwali or wear it, anywhere else. So I mean that now, I mean, like people are waking up to the glory of what a Banarsi silk is or what a Banarsi sari is. But that was something that we've been seeing since it was a house. I was coming from Banaras. I used to gift it along as well. And so there are a lot many inspiration that you will see, like, because those all things now I kind of, the Banarsi saris that I had, the brocades and everything, now I make suits out of it, like pantsuits out of it. So that we can just walk out
Yeah.
in our own cuts and textures
Correct.
and the kind of styling that we would want. So yes, I mean the answer would be very vague for
Yeah.
that. And sorry for disappointing if
No,
I
no,
haven't
no,
given
no,
you
no,
a
not
one
at
point
all.
answer,
Yeah.
but a lot many influences, yes.
That's great. We'll come to the Banarsi sari and about that we would love to know more from you. But before that, I want to ask, if you had to give one advice to somebody who's from a small town, they really love fashion, the fashion industry, they're really excited. But they sort of feel that we don't have access to it, or
Yeah.
we don't know what to do. We don't
Yeah.
know where to start. So
Yeah.
what would your advice be to them?
I mean, my advice would be to just follow your compass. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't need those expensive access. Like
Correct.
you don't need that. You can have access to the fabrics and all of that for very cheap.
Yeah.
And you can create it on your own. And if you bring that authenticity out,
Yeah.
people will notice you. I mean,
Correct.
and just don't be like that. I can't wear this, or I don't know what will people say if I wear this.
Yeah.
There is a lot of judgment attached to,
Correct,
obviously.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
when you go from a big town to a small town, your wardrobe changes.
Yeah.
You kind of discard a few elements, like that
True.
we won't wear much of sheer there,
Yeah.
or we won't much, or we'll be much more modest,
Yeah,
maybe in
yeah.
our dressings, etc. But I think so that's an internal dialogue that a person needs to have.
I think
And-
that's how the society has shaped a
Yes.
lot of us.
yes.
So I think it has a lot to
So,
do with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and if you're able to have that internal dialogue with yourself, that it's fine, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And now we have social media; you can put it out to
Correct.
anybody in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, the opinions of those 4 people in your own city doesn't matter if
True.
you are getting that kind of a celebrated validation
Yeah.
from somebody who is much more experienced in the field.
Yeah.
So I think so, yes, to follow that authenticity. I think so we are so saturated now as consumers
Yeah.
with everything, like
Yeah.
in terms of what we are seeing,
Yeah.
that anything authentic that comes up, kind of, it just takes over. I mean,
Yeah,
the
true,
earlier I
true.
was just discussing, I think so day before yesterday, that what was in that just looking like a wow that took over the world.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
was
yeah.
it? It was just sheer authenticity. It was just the simplicity of
Mouse
it.
color, laddu
It
pila
was
color.
just the
Yes.
simplicity
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, yeah.
It was just that we are so saturated with made up content. We are so saturated with just people having a script in front of them and trying to present themselves in a
True.
certain way. We are so saturated with that that anything authentic that comes up, it just takes over the world.
Absolutely.
So I think so. Just taking that cue from from that just follow your internal authenticity and let it take you to, and just don't worry about, there will be 5 people always talking
Yeah,
about you.
absolutely.
And it is a journey to not be a people pleaser.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in a day, in overnight.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy. But set your foot on that journey.
You have to
and
start somewhere.
It will take
Yes,
you
yes.
to beautiful heights.
True, true. I also feel like a lot of self-love is required.
Yeah.
You really
Yeah.
need to start appreciating
Yeah.
yourself. You need to start speaking to yourself
Yes.
positively. We do a lot of negative speaking.
Yes.
I listen to a few other podcasts as well. And the one thing that I learned is you really should start speaking to yourself politely first in order to, bloom in all the other aspects of life. So yeah,
So
absolutely.
self-love, Priyanka, is, as you know, is
Yeah.
not an overnight magic
isn't,
that happens.
yeah.
It's not a Cinderella 12 o'clock show and a
Yeah.
transformation that's happening.
Yeah.
It's a journey. And it's 2 steps forward, 1 step backward. It's that
Correct.
kind of journey. You're
Yeah.
always in to and fro, always. But
Yeah.
as long as you're making those another 2 steps again,
True.
I think so self-love is that. It's much more than bubble baths and candles and everything.
Yes,
Of course,
yes.
on a very gloomy night, that's also a part of it.
No, come on.
But,
It all makes us feel
yes,
awesome.
obviously
Yes.
it's all about
Yeah.
of course, feeling good.
Yeah.
But as you said,
No,
talking to yourself and even if you're scared, still taking that step. Even
True.
if it's fucking killing you, right? That
Yeah.
how will how can I wear this, and what will the other people say? But you're still going and showing up,
True.
even if you're very scared inside. That's
Yeah.
a beautiful act of self-love.
True, true,
So
correct. Absolutely true. Okay, so now we move on to our next segment of the podcast. So I will ask you like a few questions about what is in trend and things like that, and you can just share your opinions with us. Okay. So, as somebody who's not directly involved in the fashion industry, what is the most absurd trend that is trending right now, according to you?
um, I think it's an old trend, but I never caught up to it. Like athleisure was never
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
I
On the contrary, I like it. So,
yeah.
guilty.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Like
Yeah.
it's different for different people.
Yeah,
Like I never
absolutely.
caught up to it. I never could like understand it, and it was not for me. So athleisure is something that I've parked for my other life.
Got it.
Probably,
Nice.
probably yes. So yeah, one
Nice.
of that trend, and rest everything is fine. I think so. It just depends. I think so. It's very cyclical. We kind of keep on coming to the
Correct.
80s,
Yeah.
90s trends now, and
Yeah.
then we'll get saturated with that, and then again come up with like
Something
denim
new
on
will
denim
come.
is so
Yeah.
on fashion. Sheer is coming back,
Yeah.
and definitely a lot of like a lot of different cuts that we
True.
used to see. A lot of Victorian cuts, for example,
Yeah.
in skirts and styling, they're coming
Yeah.
back. They're,
Yeah.
used to be a waist down skirt and then
Hmm.
used to flow from there. A lot of Victorian
Yeah.
styling that's coming back.
Yeah.
So I think so. We just kind of keep on going back because even the designers and
Hmm.
predictors of fashion, they have their mood boards set in the
Yeah.
80s and 90s, and
Yeah.
the idea is always to bring that forth with a new nuance.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think so. It's just we are going back and forth, and I'm very excited for all the things that we are about to see now in this year.
Got it. So, recently we also saw Janvi Kapoor like in a red latex dress, and people were saying that she's channeling her inner Kim K.
Yeah.
So, like, do you think Hollywood has the Hollywood celebrities, they have like a global influence?
Yeah.
And do you also get influenced? And do you think Bollywood celebrities get influenced, or like people like us also
Yes,
get
for sure.
influenced?
For sure. Even
Okay.
while growing up, we were also very influenced by the Kendall Jenner and Kim Kardashian and everybody. Like a lot of
Yeah.
like I told you, like a lot of Sex in the City
Yeah.
wardrobes, etc.
Yeah.
All of that. Because there was a lot of you were not judged there. Like you could wear even like for example the underboob trend, right?
Yeah.
If any like a celeb does here,
Yeah.
then they'll be judged for it, they'll be trolled
Correct.
for it, and
Yeah.
it comes under the morality code of India and what it
True,
means to be an
true.
Indian woman.
Yeah.
So I think so they kind of take a step back. Even if you see celebs wearing sheer here, they don't show their body parts.
Yeah.
They are wearing that kind of that colored
Material, yeah. Yeah.
skin sheer
Yeah.
sort of a dress, so that but there it's not like Hollywood doesn't do like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And even like your Kardashians are not doing like that. They're not
True.
like holding themselves off that this body part I can't show because what will people say?
Correct.
So I think so. Yes, I mean there is a desire, of course, because there is a total abandonment of any kind of judgment. Obviously, they get
True.
judged for a lot of choices, etc.
Yeah.
All of that, but like in terms of morality, like how could you wear that? I think so.
Got it.
That's something here in India a lot.
Yeah, it's really prominent
And
here, yeah.
especially for women, of course.
Yeah.
That that this doesn't come under what an Indian woman would wear. This
Hmm.
wouldn't come under, and they get very nasty in trolling, right? So if
Yeah.
you are in that position where you are being trolled, it could get to your mental health, and of
Correct.
course then you would want to take a step back and would
Hmm.
want to be a little more modest so that you're not trolled, and would want to play a little safe.
Yeah.
What the thing I like there is they don't play safe.
Correct.
And I like that. I like that permutation combination when you're not playing safe.
Yeah.
And you're just like going for what it like taking it a notch ahead, even if it means to like showcase a little body part. That's fine.
Correct.
So yes,
Talking about Hollywood celebrities, I mean, I love Rihanna's style.
yes, Rihanna is, and
Isn't
it's
she
so
awesome?
unabashed.
Yeah.
It's just so unabashed.
She's totally a trendsetter.
Yes,
hands
she's
down.
she's
Yeah.
totally a trendsetter. And even
Yeah.
when she was pregnant, she was just all
Yeah,
out
I
there.
mean, amazing
Yeah.
fashion sense, even
Yeah,
when
so-
she was pregnant. Yeah.
So it's just like it's very beautiful that like and it doesn't care about like what like any morality, any like modesty or anything like that. It's just
True.
like whatever you feel good,
True.
and you bring that out. So
Yeah.
I think yeah, the fashion and the styling game, like yes, the cuts that I was talking
Yeah,
about. Like
yeah.
we always had the fabric and we always have the material. Like we are the
True.
hub of it. Like
Yeah.
in terms of perfumery also, in terms of fashion also, in terms
Correct.
of food. We are the hub of like where it generates from. But the cut and the styling, that's what I think so that gets influenced. Now, and I think so it's a big influence
Yeah.
in my life also. Has the Western celebrities have been a big influence.
Absolutely. So, you are in a way like in the beauty industry, and like, I see so much in the news. Like Shania Kapoor is going into the new year with the vanilla makeup trend, this, that. So, what do you want to try like in 2024? Which makeup trend do you want to try?
Makeup.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe a lot more like dewy and stuff like that, and maybe those graphic liners. I've never kind of tried it.
Yeah,
so I
those
think,
look great. I mean,
yeah,
even
I
I want to
think
try
I
it. Yeah.
should now for my love of colors. I think so. I should go for
Yeah.
graphic liners.
Yeah.
And anything maximalism. Like I'm not a minimalist person. I'm not dainty. I don't like those dainty jewels. I like big jewels. I like larger than life coats and larger
Yeah.
than life prints, and
Yeah.
I like a maximalism outlook at fashion.
Great, great. So, earlier you were talking about like how you are from Banaras and like you used to get a lot of gifts from people, which are saris and everything. So, today we know like a lot of brands that are trending, like let's say Shanti Banaras, Ekaya Banaras, even Raw Mango is
Mango,
doing
yeah.
some stuff. So, what are like the brands that belong to that place but we don't know about it? Like, is there anything that you saw from your childhood like being gifted and everything, but like we are not aware of
I think
that?
you'll get local shops there.
Okay.
You have local shops. You have those are glorious shops. I mean, those are finds.
Yeah.
Okay, and those are they don't care about expansion. They don't care about a fancy exterior. Nothing.
Yeah.
And people know them by their shop numbers. And they know them by it's a very old school way of doing of entrepreneurship of business.
Yeah.
And the kind of you go into the local gullies. I mean, like now. I think so. I think so. Aishwarya Rai kind of bought a lot of her bridal etc. wear from Banaras, and I think so that became a
Really?
trend.
Wow.
Yes,
I didn't know
her
about it.
entire bride, like she and Manish Malhotra, everybody came to Banaras and kind of or Sabyasachi. I don't know who was there, but I think and that got picked on that Aishwarya Rai is here for her bride because it was a big deal that she's getting Aishwarya Rai is getting married.
Yeah.
So and she picked a lot of the bridal wear from Banaras, and it was always on a booming because the kind of material and the silk and the brocade that you get there, and even Banarsi saris, they look extremely rich and gorgeous.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean the shops and the brands that you'll get there, I think so the brands that you mentioned, Raw Mango, Shanti Banaras, they're doing a fabulous job.
Yeah.
And maintaining both the traditionality of it and also giving you modern
The
cuts
contemporary
and pressure.
look,
Yes.
yeah.
Contemporary look as well, so that if you're not comfortable, obviously to suit your everyday life, which is like to go to an office or go to a dinner party, go to a date, etc. So you can still carry that tradition with you. You're not like that, okay, this sari is only have to wear it at a puja. I cannot wear it on a date night.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you cannot wear a sari as a sari on a date night, but if I can give it to you as a pantsuit, maybe you can.
Yeah, a lot of homegrown
So,
brands are sort of
yes.
styling it in a
Yes,
way. They're
yes.
selling,
I mean, and on a personal note, Priyanka, I think so. It makes you feel much more rooted. I mean, it's as I'm growing older, I'm realizing the value of finding your roots.
Yeah.
I think so that happens. I mean, I used to hear that my cousin, they want to trace their roots, they want to go talk to their oldest grandparents, and I was like, okay, what's the fun in that?
Yeah.
But now
you're
I
getting
think
it.
so I'm waking up to that. I think so how it kind of roots you and how it kinds of grounds you, it has a lot more effect on your mental emotional well-being. So if you are carrying a piece of your tradition, or if you are carrying a piece of something which comes from the city that you were born in, or which comes from the nation that you are living in, I think so you find a little bit more rooting and grounding in wherever you go.
Absolutely. So moving on like from a little bit away from fashion, like you're an entrepreneur, who started her own perfume business and everything. So like, we would love for like our viewers to have some entrepreneurial tips from you.
Okay.
So let's say I am like a youngster, I'm wanting to, or not a youngster, I'm of any age, and I'm wanting to like start my own fashion brand or like a beauty brand, like a perfume brand. So like, how do you go about it? Like, it's so crazy, that
Yeah.
space. I mean, firstly, there's so much of crowding, like
Yeah.
everybody wants to do that these days.
Right.
So how do you navigate your path? Like, how do you really think, okay, this is what I want to do, this is how I need to go about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my tip would be to start small and start unfinished.
Okay.
Okay, I see that a difference between men and women, by the way. Women really want to start something as a finished product. Like, it has to be perfect. Everything
Yeah.
needs to be the name, the bottling, the packaging, everything. Like, entire thing should be perfect. It's not the case with guys. Guys are okay to start something with which is like not even an idea. Like, they
Yeah.
will just like, they will be like, ki PPT mein dikha denge, usme kya hai?
Yeah.
Like, they are so casual about it sometimes. But women want to be perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
And I think so that's a curse. I mean, I think so there's a boon and a curse part of it, but there is you should just start unfinished. It's a long journey. It's not like your brand will not be finished in 2 years.
Yeah.
There's a long journey. It's a decade and more long journey that you have, and you'll still be finding your footing.
Yeah.
So and keep on changing, keep on evolving, and the community that you'll build, I think so they will give you that space to grow.
Yeah.
Because when you bring out something with authenticity, they give you that space to grow. I mean,
Correct.
I'll give you one of my examples. Like, very early on, I think so we delivered a product. And we delivered a Kastoor, and she came back to us with a photograph that the bottle is leaking.
Okay.
Okay, and it was just like a little bit like
Chip.
gone out. Like, I think so the roller ball was something, it was not fitted properly or something like that. So I was like, oh my god, I'm really sorry. I'll just dispatch you another one.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't need that. Don't waste your money and
Okay.
don't waste your product.
Okay.
I love the scent. I'll keep it. I just want to inform you so that if you can recheck the batch that you're giving it to other people, that maybe they don't have leakage bottles. Don't worry about it. Don't give me another scent.
How sweet. Yeah.
And it was an act of brilliant kindness, because that lady has
Correct.
paid 2,500 for my bottle, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, if she could have come back, like, how could you give me a damaged product? Or, of course,
Exactly.
please replace it ASAP.
Yeah.
But she gave me that space to grow.
Yeah.
And I'm forever grateful. That's why I love my community for that manner. Like, there's such epitome of kindness, because they give you, if you display your authenticity out there, they will give you the space to grow.
True.
So have that courage to start unfinished. You don't need to have. We started with just 5 products.
Yeah.
Because it was a niche thing that we were doing, that we were talking about ethers when nobody was talking about ethers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so people are like, oh, no perfumes, like only ethers? Like, why ethers? वो तो बड़े पुराने ज़माने के हैं. Why are you doing ethers?
Yeah.
all
But you
of
gave
that.
it like a modern take.
Exactly.
To it. Yeah.
So, I was doing something which is already, I wanted to drill that concept into you, right? So, I kept it very focused. Our tagline was also modern ethers, because it's just like very, very focused on what we're doing. And I launched with just 5 products, which is just to 5 different category of scents, which is like a fruity, a floral, a woody, etc. Like the 5 basic.
Yeah.
And I launched with just that. And no other product I had on my catalog. Like, I didn't have a candle, I didn't have a room spray, I didn't have anything. It was just that small batch.
And I think you should also not be scared of your competition, because it's okay. There are always going to be people who are
There is always going
competing.
to be, like, just, I think so. It just, there is some point that you need to kind of, kind of sit with yourself, that what is the kind of life that you want to live.
True.
Do you always want to be on the edge, that who is doing something and, get that anxiety that, oh my God, how did they do something better? Or like, tomorrow I need to like put all that pressure on my team, because last night somebody released a video and it just outdid me. Do you always want to remain in that pressure? Then it's a very anxious life. Maybe it's a very glorified life outside. People will be like, wow, like, you're so successful. But when you go back home, you'll be very anxious.
Got it,
So,
yeah.
I mean, at some point, you need to sit with yourself, that what is the kind of life that you would want to live. And for me, I just don't want that life. I don't want to have, I was just talking about it to somebody yesterday, that, if your purpose is larger than yourself, right? And like, for example, my purpose is to get India on the global map of fragrances. My purpose is
Yeah.
to get India's due
Yeah.
on the global map of fragrances. My purpose is that people realize that what we are holding is a golden bird.
Yeah.
And we're not realizing, 35 out of 35 main perfumery ingredients are exported out of India. The Dior's and the Chanel's are taking our ingredients and they're building sense in that.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
important to realize what we are holding.
True.
Right? So
Yeah, in terms of everything, in terms of textiles, weaves,
everything, like food,
fragrances,
textile,
food,
everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I lost the chain of thought there. What was the question?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll come to the last question of this round. So, how do you think that fashion brands and your perfumery brand, like, how could it collaborate? Like, is there any way?
Is there, I would love to like have a very visual representation of so the other day I was talking to someone that scents don't have a visual representation. That is
Yeah.
why we've always been into the sexual storytelling of scents, because scents do not have, it's something you can't see.
Yeah.
And it's one of the toughest category to market, because
Correct.
even a cloth you can see, a purse you can see, get enchanted by
yeah.
it. The scent is something which is not visual at all, because it's
true.
something that you have to smell, right? So I think with fashion, if we can make it visual,
Yeah.
I think
that'll
that
be a
would
great idea.
That would be
Yeah.
fabulous, because
Correct.
we haven't done that till now.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
even globally, even anywhere, we have not mixed these two
True.
forces together.
Yeah.
So if you can represent a scent visually
yeah.
through fashion, I think so
Awesome.
that would be glorious.
Great. Okay, so that was the end of this segment. Now moving on, this is our last segment, and I feel this is like the most fun segment. Like I personally really enjoy it.
Okay.
So it's a fashion game called this fashion this or that.
Okay.
And I'll ask you 7 questions really quickly.
Okay.
It's not a rapid fire, but like you need to be quick about it. Okay,
Okay,
and then
sure.
you have to just choose one. Okay, so let's start. Are you excited?
I'm excited,
I am.
yes.
Okay. So between Kate and Meghan, whose royal fashion style do you find more appealing?
Kate.
Okay. Which celebrity or public figure do you think consistently nails the perfect airport look? Kiara, Deepika, or Kriti?
Deepika.
Okay. Perfume notes that you prefer, zesty, floral, or musky?
Musky.
Okay.
Actually spicy, but yeah.
Okay. So you are the better judge of that. Okay. If your fashion style had a theme song, what would it be? Boss Bitch by Doja Cat, Fireworks by Katy Perry, New Rules by Dua Lipa, or Bad Romance by Lady Gaga?
Bad romance.
Okay. You're a fashion detective solving style crimes. Who would you go to for like the partnership? Like who would you partner with for that job? Kate Young or Law Roach?
I think Law Roach, for sure.
Nice, yeah.
For sure.
Okay. So quickly down the last 2, scarf or a statement belt?
Belt.
Okay. Leather or cargo pants?
Leather.
So, thank you, Isha, for bringing your unique perspectives and insight to our podcast. It was really a pleasure having you here. And to all the people who tuned in, thank you for watching. And I'm really bad at goodbyes, like I said last time, but I shall try in 2024. If you guys have any feedback or thoughts, please do share it with us on pods@indiatoday.com. Or you can also text us on 8588 966 996. Thank you, and we will bring you a lot more fun episodes. Thank you. Take care. Bye.